At 67, the story of Orel Hershiser is often pulled into emotional online headlines that use words like tragedy and heartbreaking, but the reality behind those phrases is far more ordinary and far less dramatic, because there is no verified evidence of a personal collapse, hidden illness, or sudden crisis driving his current life, and instead what exists is the natural and very human passage of time after a long, successful baseball career that made him one of the most respected pitchers of his generation, especially during his unforgettable run with the Los Angeles Dodgers, where he became a defining figure of late 1980s baseball through his remarkable consistency, mental toughness, and historic postseason dominance, most famously highlighted by his record-setting scoreless streak and his leadership in the 1988 championship season, which remains one of the most celebrated stretches in Major League Baseball history, earning him accolades such as the World Series MVP and later the Cy Young Award, and cementing his reputation as a pitcher who combined intelligence, control, and endurance in a way few others could match. Yet like all professional athletes who reach the highest level, the physical demands of repeated pitching seasons inevitably left long-term effects on his body, not as a dramatic downfall but as a normal consequence of elite athletic performance, where years of high-stress mechanics gradually accumulate into wear and fatigue that every pitcher eventually experiences. And after retiring from active play, Hershiser transitioned into roles that allowed him to remain connected to the sport he defined, including coaching, advisory positions, and broadcasting work with organizations such as ESPN, where he provided analysis shaped by first-hand experience at the highest level of competition, offering insight into the mental and technical aspects of pitching that fans rarely see. And while this transition represents a significant identity shift from player to commentator, it is not a tragedy but a common and often healthy evolution for former athletes who move from physical performance into mentorship and analysis, though it can appear quieter or less visible to audiences who primarily remember him in his peak competitive years. And that contrast between memory and present reality is often what fuels exaggerated online narratives that frame normal aging and career transition as decline or hidden suffering, even though, in Hershiser's case, there is no credible indication of such a situation, and his legacy within the Los Angeles Dodgers organization remains strong, with continued respect from fans and the baseball community who still regard him as one of the most iconic pitchers in franchise history, particularly for his role in delivering one of the most memorable championship runs in modern baseball. And beyond the statistics and awards, his story is ultimately one of durability and adaptation, where success is measured not only in wins and records but also in the ability to transition into life after professional sports without losing one's identity or connection to the game, which is a challenge many athletes face but do not always navigate successfully. And in that sense, Hershiser's journey reflects stability rather than tragedy, showing a man who moved through the expected phases of an athletic career: rise, peak, retirement, and reinvention, while maintaining dignity and continued involvement in the sport. And although emotional headlines may suggest something more dark or hidden, the actual reality is simply the passage of time on a celebrated career, where the intensity of the past naturally gives way to a quieter present, and what remains is a respected figure whose contributions to baseball are secure, whose post-playing life has been steady and engaged, and whose story continues to be defined more by accomplishment and longevity than by any form of heartbreak or collapse.